It's 5:30 a.m. in a log cabin somewhere in the Rockies, 1847. The fire is down to embers. The wind outside is howling, rattling the shutters, and the only thing standing between you and the cold is a war of hand-hewn logs and a mind full of secrets. A man named Silas, face weathered by sun and wind, is hunched over a battered tin mug. He's not reaching for a bottle of pills. He's not waiting for a doctor's appointment. He's making medicine the way his father did, the way his grandfather did, the way people did for centuries before modern medicine decided it had all the answers. And here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. The most powerful remedies in the world don't come from a pharmacy. They don't come from a lab. They come from the land, roots, barks, leaves, and resins that kept people alive when there was no other option. Remedies that worked so well, so reliably, that modern science is only now rediscovering what the mountain men never forgot. But you've been told otherwise. You've been told that old remedies are folk wisdom, that they're unscientific, that they're dangerous or quaint or obsolete. You've been told this by people who profit from your confusion, by a system that wants you to believe you're broken and only they can fix you. You've been told to trust the bottle, the subscription, the protocol, the plan. And when it fails, you blame yourself. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 12 forgotten mountain man remedies that modern medicine is rediscovering. Not because I want you to throw away your doctor's number, but because you deserve to know the truth about what's possible when you reclaim the knowledge that was always yours, and why that knowledge was buried, not lost. The real reason these remedies work and why they were buried. Let's start with the outrage. The pharmaceutical industry is worth over $1.5 trillion a year. It's built on the idea that health is something you buy, not something you make. But here's the kicker. Over 50% of all prescription drugs are derived from plants. Aspirin from willow bark, morphine from poppy, digoxin from foxglove, quinine from cinchona. The list goes on, but the mountain men didn't have a lab. They had a landscape. They had observation, trial and error, and a willingness to trust what worked. They didn't isolate a single molecule. They used the whole plant, the whole system, the whole context, and that's why their remedies worked, because they were more than the sum of their parts. Modern medicine is only now catching up, only now admitting that the folk wisdom of the past was often more effective, more holistic, and more sustainable than anything you can buy in a bottle. And that's why these remedies are being rediscovered, not because they're trendy, but because they work. The 12 forgotten remedies modern medicine is rediscovering. Let's walk through the list. Not a list of superfoods, not a list of exotic plants you can't pronounce. A list of remedies that have been used for centuries, tested in modern research, and proven to work, often better than anything you can buy at the pharmacy. 1. Willow bark, Salix species, the original aspirin. Before there was aspirin, there was willow bark. Mountain men chewed the bark or brewed it into tea for headaches, fever, and pain. The active compound, salicin, is converted in the body to salicylic acid, the same compound in aspirin. Modern studies confirm willow bark's effectiveness for pain and inflammation, with fewer stomach side effects than synthetic aspirin. Why was it forgotten? Because you can't patent a tree. But now, herbalists and even some doctors are recommending willow bark for chronic pain, arthritis, and backaches, especially for people who can't tolerate NSAIDs. 2. Yarrow Achillea millefolium, the battlefield bandage. Yarrow was the mountain man's first aid kit. Crushed fresh, it stops bleeding. Brewed as a tea, it reduces fever and inflammation. Applied as a poultice, it speeds wound healing and prevents infection. Modern research shows yarrow contains alkaloids and flavonoids that promote clotting, reduce inflammation, and fight bacteria. Why was it forgotten? Because it's free, it's everywhere, and it works too well. Now, yarrow is being studied for wound care, nosebleeds, and even as a treatment for heavy menstrual bleeding. 3. Pine pitch, Pinus species, the antiseptic salve. When the mountain men got a cut, a burn, or a splinter, they didn't reach for neosporin. They reached for pine pitch, the sticky resin that oozes from wounded pine trees. Pine pitch is a natural antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and drawing agent. It seals wounds, draws out infection, and speeds healing. Modern studies confirm its antimicrobial and wound healing properties. Why was it forgotten? Because it's messy, sticky, and doesn't come in a tube. But now, pine pitch salves are making a comeback in herbal first aid kits and even some wilderness medicine courses. 4. Usnea, Usnea species. The old man's beard antibiotic. Usnea, or old man's beard, is a lichen that hangs from trees in cool, moist forests. Mountain men used it as a wound dressing and internal remedy for infections. Usnea contains yellow-ethnic acid, a potent antibiotic effective against gram-positive bacteria, including staph and strep. Modern research is exploring Usnea as a natural alternative to synthetic antibiotics, especially as resistance rises. Why was it forgotten? Because it's hard to harvest, hard to standardize, and doesn't fit the pharmaceutical model. But in a world of antibiotic resistance, Usnea is being rediscovered as a powerful ally. 5. Slippery elm, Ulmus rubra, the gut healer. Slippery elm bark was the mountain man's answer to heartburn, ulcers, sore throats, and digestive distress. Mixed with water, it forms a soothing mucilaginous gel that coats and heals irritated tissues. Modern studies confirm its effectiveness for GERD, IBS, and throat irritation. Why was it forgotten? Because it's not a quick fix. It's gentle, slow, and nourishing. But now, slippery elm is being recommended by integrative doctors for everything from reflux to chemotherapy, induced mouth sores. 6. Echinacea, Echinacea species. The immune booster. Long before it was a supplement, echinacea was a root dug up by mountain men and Native Americans alike, used for snake bites, infections, and as a general immune tonic. Echinacea stimulates white blood cell production and modulates inflammation. Modern clinical trials show it can reduce the duration and severity of colds and flu. Why was it forgotten? Because the supplement industry turned it into a pill, stripped it of its context, and oversold it. But whole plant echinacea, used as a tea or tincture, is making a comeback in clinics and homes. 7. Mullein, Verbascum thapsus, the lung healer. Mullein leaves were smoked, steeped, or inhaled as steam to treat coughs, bronchitis, and lung congestion. The soft, fuzzy leaves soothe inflamed tissues, loosen mucus, and ease breathing. Modern research confirms mullein's expectorant and anti-inflammatory properties. Why was it forgotten? Because it's a weed, and because pharmaceutical cough syrups are easier to sell. But now, mullein tea and tincture are being rediscovered for chronic cough, asthma, and even as a gentle remedy for children. 8. Plantain, Plantago major, the drawing poultice. Plantain leaf is a wound healer, anti-inflammatory, and anti-infective. Mountain men chewed the leaves and applied them to bites, stings, and wounds. The leaves draw out splinters, soothe bites, and heal skin faster than any over-the-counter cream. Modern studies confirm plantain's antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory effects. Why was it forgotten? Because it grows in every yard, every sidewalk crack, and nobody profits from it. But now, plantain is being used in natural first aid kits and even in some hospital wound care protocols. 9. Golden seal, Hydrastis canadensis, the mucous membrane. Miracle, golden seal root, was used for mouth sores, odd eye infections, digestive issues, and as a general antimicrobial. It contains berberine, a compound with broad-spectrum antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory effects. Modern research is exploring golden seal for antibiotic-resistant infections and as a topical treatment for wounds. Why was it forgotten? Because it was over-harvested, nearly wiped out, and replaced by synthetic antibiotics. But now, golden seal is being cultivated and studied for its unique healing properties. 10. Wild cherry bark, Prunus serratina, the cough soother. Wild cherry bark was the mountain man's cough syrup, Steeped in hot water or simmered with honey, it soothes dry, hacking coughs and calms irritated throats. Modern research confirms its antitussive, cough-suppressing, and anti-inflammatory effects. Why was it forgotten? Because it's not as sweet as artificial syrups and because codeine is easier to prescribe. But wild cherry bark is making a comeback in herbal cough remedies and natural medicine cabinets. 11. Comfrey symphytum officinale, the bone knitter. Comfrey, also known as knit bone, was used for sprains, bruises, and broken bones. The leaves and roots contain allantoin, a compound that stimulates cell growth and speeds healing. Modern studies confirm comfrey's effectiveness for wound healing, pain relief, and even bone repair. Why was it forgotten? Because of concerns about liver toxicity with internal use. But external comfrey salves and poultices are safe and effective and are being rediscovered by sports medicine and wound care specialists. Sha'er, Oregon grapefruit, Mahonia aquifolium, the skin and gut restorer. Oregon grapefruit was used for skin conditions, digestive issues, and as a general tonic. It contains berberine, the same compound found in golden seal, with powerful antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory effects. Modern research shows Oregon grapefruit is effective for psoriasis, eczema, and even as a natural alternative to antibiotics for gut infections. Why was it forgotten? Because it's not as famous as golden seal, and because pharmaceutical creams are easier to sell. But now, Oregon grapefruit is being studied for everything from skin health to metabolic syndrome. Why these remedies work when modern medicine fails? Here's the outrage. Every one of these remedies contains hundreds of compounds that work together. When you take a pharmaceutical, you're getting one molecule, isolated, stripped of its context, often in a dose your body can't use. When you use a mountain man remedy, you're getting the full spectrum: vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, enzymes, and phytochemicals that buffer, enhance, and balance each other. Clinical research backs this up. Studies show that whole plant extracts are more effective and safer than isolated compounds. The synergy of the whole plant can't be replicated in a lab. That's why holistic healers use these remedies. That's why they work. And here's the empowerment. You don't need a prescription. You don't need a subscription. You don't need to spend $50 a month on a bottle of pills. You need knowledge, access, and the willingness to reclaim what was always yours. How to use these remedies and what the medical industry doesn't want you to know. You don't need to be a herbalist to use these plants. You need to start simple. Teas and infusions. Most remedies work best as teas. Steep a tablespoon of dried herb in hot water for 10 to 20 minutes. Drink daily. Poultices and salves. For skin issues, mash fresh leaves or use dried powder mixed with water. Apply directly. Tinctures, alcohol extracts are potent and easy to use. 10 to 30 drops in water, 2 to 3 times a day. Syrups. For coughs and colds, simmer herbs with honey and water. Take by the spoonful. Food. Many remedies can be added to soups, stews, and salads. Dandelion, nettle, garlic, and turmeric are all foods as well as medicines. Start with 1 or 2 remedies. Learn how your body responds. Build your own medicine chest, one plant at a time. The truth they never wanted you to know: the medical industry wants you to believe you're broken, that you need a pill for every problem, that health is something you buy, not something you grow, gather, or brew. But the truth is, the most powerful medicine on earth is growing in your backyard, your garden, your local park. The knowledge was always there. It was just buried under a mountain of marketing, regulation, and profit. You are not broken. You were just given broken instructions. The tools were always there. The knowledge was always yours. Now you know.